that will obey any future instructions Jehovah may give us. And so, doing this.
Brad, I notice you've really been focused on that picture. Do you mind if I ask what you're thinking about?
Hello, everyone. Like many who leave this religion, I was left with a lot of unresolved trauma. I wanted to help my therapist understand what it's like being a Jehovah's Witness as a child, to see all the images, videos, and messages we're bombarded with every day in this religion. I showed my therapist some of what you're about to see next. At the start of our next session, she said to me, "This is absolute propaganda. I'm sorry you were subjected to that at a young age." Hopefully this video will help those who want to show their therapists, friends, or loved ones what sort of religion the Jehovah's Witnesses are. I would greatly appreciate it if you could share on forums like Twitter, Reddit, Facebook. Speaking with my therapist, I finally felt validated. She was right. Those images and videos were completely inappropriate for a child. It made sense why I suffered from so much anxiety, why I was constantly worried about not pleasing God and being destroyed at Armageddon, afraid of having blood on my hands for not teaching to classmates, worried about my family's reputation in the congregation if I wasn't a perfect little girl. My therapist specializes in EMDR, which is a form of treatment to reduce the emotion associated with trauma. I'm not recommending this, I just wanted to share what has been working for me, and that there are ways to overcome the trauma that was caused. There is hope. Many of the pictures here are taken from children's books such as My Book of Bible Stories and Learn from the Great Teacher, as well as books that we all had to study such as the Revelation book, Life, How Did It Get Here by Evolution or Creation, Mankind's Search for God, and more. Every single one of these pictures was in a publication from the Watchtower, and I stared at many of them constantly. Stared and stared, my anxiety steadily increasing. As a child, every night before I went to bed, my parents put on the My Book of Bible Stories or listened to The Great Teacher on cassette. I read those two books so often that I had the pictures memorized, and listening to the tapes at night I recalled all those horrific images. Nowadays, the Jehovah's Witnesses use cartoons, videos, activities, and more to indoctrinate their children.
I mean, think about it. To explain Bible truth to them, see their face light up as little light bulbs start going off in their mind as they're learning these truths, to see them start making changes in their life to please Jehovah, to see them become an unbaptized publisher, come up from that baptismal pool, maybe later get into the pioneer work.
The Become Jehovah's Friends series has proved to be a real gift from Jehovah. Through these Bible lessons, children can learn to be kind, to be honest, to be respectful, and to develop other godly qualities that help them see and obey the one who is invisible.
Listen, obey, and be blessed when you hear God's will expressed. If you'd be happy and enter His rest, listen, obey, and be blessed.
Once you're out, you realize how creepy those lyrics are. In this clip, you see how children are made to feel guilty, spending money on simple childish pleasures like buying an ice cream cone. Instead, they're told to donate to the organization. And of course, there's no mention of the millions of dollars they've had to pay out on child abuse lawsuits. Also, from a young age, they're taught to preach to their classmates. That puts a lot of pressure on those little shoulders. I believed everyone in my class would die a horrible death in Armageddon if I didn't save them. The organization is also anti-LGBTQ, as you can see in this next clip.
Carrie drew two mommies. She told me they're married to each other. My teacher says that all that matters is that people love each other and that they're happy.
Well, people have their own ideas about what is right and wrong. But what matters is how Jehovah feels. He wants us to be happy, and he knows how we can be happiest. That's why he invented marriage the way he did.
You mean one man and one woman?
Exactly. It's kind of like going on an airplane. What would happen if someone wanted to bring something on the plane that wasn't allowed?
They couldn't go on their trip.
Right. It's the same with Jehovah. He wants us to be his friend and live in paradise forever. But we have to follow his standards to get there. At Matthew 7:13 and 14, it talks about the road leading to paradise. To get there, Jehovah says we have to leave some things behind. That means anything Jehovah doesn't approve of.
But I want everyone to get to paradise.
So does Jehovah. And you know what? People can change. That's why we share his message. So, what can you say to Carrie?
Well, I could tell her about the paradise. I could tell her about the animals and the resurrection.
That's awesome! Let's practice.
It does us good to remember why the Become Jehovah's Friends series was created. These videos were not designed as mere entertainment to simply pacify children for a short period of time.
They have an entire section of their website dedicated to children, with songs, activities, some with horrible pictures. Here, children, let's connect the dots to Lot's wife dying as her body turns into a pillar of salt. Here's Lot's wife in a cartoon or graphic novel style, although I recall them saying they didn't like it being referred to that and that it should be called illustrated Bible stories. Not good enough? Here's Lot's wife recreated in real life. More on that one later. Cartoons that are specifically made for children have scary pictures and adult themes depicting murder and death. The Jehovah's Witnesses are going full speed ahead on making real-life dramas. Take a look at a few and the amount of violence depicted. View this one from the eyes of a child. The first video is called "O Jehovah, I Trust in You," about King Hezekiah, and the second video is called "Walk by Faith, Not by Sight."
Do not promise them anything.
Jehovah, your God, is weak! He will cringe before my God Asher, just as you. Cringe before me now. Tell me, do you fear me?
No, I do not fear death.
Adar! Why are you still sleeping?
My love.
Of those prophecies. Spread about the defeat of the Roman army at the hands of the Jewish rebels at Beth Horon, it only raised more questions. But we had
Jerusalem is like a ravenous beast that feeds on its own flesh. fight one another for control, like mad dogs. Priest and worshiper alike have been slaughtered at the temple, sprinkling the altar with their own blood. There is starvation in the city too. All the food reserves were destroyed out of the jealousy of the political factions. Tens of thousands have died. Reports from the countryside say that the Roman army is burning, looting, and killing its way back to Jerusalem. By now, they are only a few days away. You were wise to leave when you did. And you would be wiser still not to attempt to return anytime soon. Perhaps you and Shebuel were right after all. I love you, Pariah.
Some Jehovah's Witness parents were so shocked by this content when it was shown that they wrote letters to the governing body. This is how they responded.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to this month's broadcast. We might mention that we've had just a few parents write in expressing concern that some of our videos depict scenes that could have an effect on children who've been protected from anything even hinting at an act of violence. We very much appreciate the concern. However, when portraying a Bible account, we cannot ignore the message Jehovah saw fit to preserve in His Word. We don't feel comfortable watering down the inspired insight that Jehovah has preserved for the benefit of true worshipers.
Fair warning, parents. That means accounts like when Lot's daughters got him drunk and then raped him could be a JW video. It's in the Bible after all. Or how about the account in Judges when a concubine was raped all night until she died? Then the master cut her body up into 12 pieces and sent a piece of her into each territory.
However, as you've observed, we do so as tastefully as possible. We don't show actual violent acts or bloodshed.
And worshiper alike have been slaughtered at the temple, sprinkling the altar with their own blood.
Jehovah wanted all, including the young ones, to understand what was coming. Parents, likewise, need to give their children a realistic idea of what we all will face in the near future. Be assured that we'll continue to be sensitive to the feelings of you parents when we produce a video that's based on a Bible account that includes descriptions of warfare or other incidents of violent actions. We'll do so with care, while not ignoring the powerful...
A few months later, governing body member Anthony Morris also addressed the issue about their violent movies. It seems some parents were still upset.
If you recall, in the May 2020 JW Broadcasting monthly program, Brother Lett addressed the concern a few parents have expressed about some of our videos that depict biblical or modern-day situations. The concern expressed is that some scenes could have an effect on children who've been protected from all negative circumstances on TV, including daily news reports of catastrophes being faced by real people. The basement scene we just reviewed was one of our videos that produced such a reaction. Another one was the reenactment of the Bible account depicting Jehovah's saving acts in the time of King Hezekiah. It was shown at the 2016 Regional Convention, and the video is entitled, "Oh Jehovah, I Trust in You." Let's look again at that portrayal of Jehovah's saving acts.
Anthony Morris goes on to show a video clip from the same movie the parents were complaining about. So heartless.
If a parent has shielded his child from viewing all scenes on the news or other visual images depicting negative realities, it's understandable that there may be a concern. However, as Brother Lett stated, parents need to give their children a realistic idea of what we will face in the near future. Our videos depict such circumstances in a tasteful and sanitized way, not showing any actual acts of bloodshed or violence.
And worshiper alike have been slaughtered at the temple.
Be assured that the governing body is not trying to scare anyone.
Up next is the basement video he was referring to that parents also complained about.
Faith has led you here as loyal servants of Jehovah, confident that Psalm 97, verse 10 applies to you personally. Jehovah is guarding the lives of his loyal ones.
Where are they? Check the basement. Shut that door.
As a child, you were taught that you can't trust the world. It was always us against them. You're taught to fear the Great Tribulation when the world will turn on Jehovah's Witnesses. In recent years, there has been an uptick of JW media showing meetings held in secret locations to avoid being discovered. You become paranoid of everyone that's not a witness. You're only safe in the organization. They truly believe the authorities throughout the world will come after them and try to kill them. It's traumatizing as a child to hear this repeatedly. I remember a drama back at the 2004 District Convention about Paul and Silas, and it included the account in Acts chapter 16 of the demon-possessed girl that was following them. 2 years prior, the horror movie The Ring came out. Of course, I didn't see it then, but the demon-possessed girl in the drama at the convention I attended looked exactly like her. Long matted black hair, dirty white skirt, slow walking. I remember turning to my mom and asking her, "Are we supposed to be watching this?" Her demon-possessed voice scared me so badly. Here's the audio clip.
Paul, Silas, that servant girl who has a demon spirit of prediction is coming this way again. Every time we go down to the river to the place of prayer, she comes and calls out after us.
Some in the marketplace are wondering if she's making her predictions in the name of Christ. It confuses the crowd when she apparently supports us in the ministry of salvation.
Publishing to you the way of salvation. These men are slaves of the Most High God. These men are slaves of the
For
Most
too many days, she has been following us and calling out after us. I'm getting tired of it.
Me too.
I order you in the name of Jesus Christ to come out of her.
They've also started pushing out more modern-day dramas. Here's another one with an anti-gay message.
Previously on Remember the Wife of Lot.
Really good, Anna. Good job.
Really? Thanks.
Hey, we're still behind schedule, though, so I'm gonna have to ask you to work overtime with the rest of the team, just till we get caught up, okay?
Anna, you missed dinner with Brother Williams tonight, and your friend from the North congregation, she came too. What happened?
Dad, I know, but we had to work late. I sent Mom a text.
Anna, I was trying to do something spiritually encouraging for the family. We're worried about you, honey.
Okay, Dad, I'm sorry, but it's no big deal. It's just that the new medication we're working on, it goes to market soon. It's really important. It could save people's lives.
No big deal. Anna, first of all, you know only God's kingdom will solve our problems. These kids and your work, it's getting in the way of what's most important.
You know, I really wanted to apologize to both of you. It's my fault that Anna's late today. I asked the entire team to work overtime so we could get caught up on schedule. But just to let you know, she's doing really good. And we really do enjoy having her on the team.
Okay, thank you.
You know, not just that, she's working with some good people. Tess and Eric, they're some of the best up-and-coming talents we have in the field.
Your parents must be really proud of you. Well, my moms are both really proud of me.
I'm sorry for the edit. I just found it so ridiculous he reacts like it's the worst thing he's ever heard.
I was raised by two wonderful women, you know, life partners.
Oh, yeah, you know, my assistant Marty, I recently found out that he's gay.
You say that like there's something wrong with it. Do you have a problem?
Tess, don't do this.
Why? There's nothing wrong with being gay.
Tess, We live by the Bible's moral standards, but we don't force our beliefs on other people, and we don't judge anyone either.
But you do think being gay is wrong.
Eric, remember where we're at.
Well, we believe there are standards of right and wrong that we should live by. And God's word says that sex is meant to be between a man and a woman who are married to each other.
Hey, look, I don't mean to be rude, sir, but the world has changed.
Honey, maybe we're being too harsh on gays. Some people just seem to be programmed that way.
Look, I know not everyone agrees with us, but we all have free will. And God lets us choose to live by his standards or not. If we go against his standards, we end up hurting ourselves. He just wants what's best for us.
Anna, what about you? Do you agree with your father?
Well,
You know, we actually have another project due tomorrow. It's probably best that we get going.
Here's another scene from the same series. It shocked many because it looked like it was straight out of a horror movie.
Mom, don't look back. Remember the wife of Lot.
Remember the wife of Lot.
More anti-gay propaganda. Remember, this is just a sampling of the message that's repeated over and over, and it warps a child's thinking.
Hi.
Would you like to make a donation to the marathon?
No thank you.
They try to make it out like the whole world is against them.
Shall I put it in the bag, or do you want to wear it now?
No thank you.
What's wrong, honey? You got something against them?
Well, no, I don't have anything against them personally.
So what's the problem?
I respect that they have a right to choose their lifestyle, but as a Bible reader,
Excuse me! I'm a Bible reader too. I go to church, and our church is one of the biggest supporters for this marathon. So what are you trying to say?
These are views Jehovah's Witnesses have about anyone who isn't one of them. A few years back, the Jehovah's Witnesses in Sweden were charged because there were hundreds of children in attendance and they didn't get permission to show some of these films. I wish more countries would do the same. Many videos are not age appropriate for children. There's a reason ratings exist.
This is JW Broadcasting from the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses. Also, there'll be a vast multitude of unrighteous ones who will return from the grave. There will be many others who will come back, who will have to abandon their former way of life. I was thinking, as an example, a homosexual. Now, this former homosexual comes back in the resurrection, and he really thought, and he was taught, and he came to believe that God accepted him with that lifestyle. But now he's going to learn about Jehovah's moral standards. And he's going to learn that Jehovah will not lower his standard to accommodate us. We have to come up to Jehovah's standard. Will he change? Will he adjust? It'll be up to him. Think of the atheists who will be resurrected. Here they ate Jehovah's food. They drank his water. They breathed his air. They walked on his ground. Never gave him any credit. Never acknowledged him at all. Makes us think of the illustration of the pig under the apple tree. He gobbles up the apples off the ground, but he never looks up to see where they came from. Now, we may not use that illustration with these atheists that come back, but they will have to be helped to see what a selfish life they lived And now they're going to have to praise Jehovah, acknowledge, give him honor, glory, and worship. Will they do so? Many will need to reject false religious ideas that they believed in Satan's world. Here's just an example. Imagine one who really believed that all good people go to heaven. But now he's resurrected and he's brought back here to the earth. Obviously, he'll know that teaching was wrong. But what about other false teachings that he believed? Will he change his mind and heart? Will he accept these truths? It'll be up to him. But you, brothers and sisters, will help such ones. And as we said, they'll come from all time periods, locations, cultures. Some may have been rulers, maybe slaves, maybe criminals, maybe self-righteous persons. Maybe one's died in combat, died in childbirth, died of disease, perhaps the coronavirus, died by starvation. I was thinking about the men who threw the 3 Hebrews into the fiery furnace and they died because of the heat. They'll come back with a vivid memory of that situation.
Remember, everyone in the world is bad and out to get you.
As a pup,
It's us versus them.
that's why
You aren't safe anywhere outside the organization.
that's your free copy.
Hey! What's this about? Are you trying to tell me that my religion is false and yours is true? Get off my property! If you come back again, I'm gonna set my dog on you! Nobody wants you here!
I also wanted to include a snapshot of the organization's view on higher education, such as university. Because of how much university is demonized, growing up you don't plan for it after high school. You don't work hard for the grades you need to get accepted or to get the scholarships to help with financing. It's all about the organization, what you can do for it. For those that leave the organization when they're older, they find themselves years behind their peers as they try to catch up.
We realize educational systems vary from place to place. In some countries, higher education is provided by the government, free of charge. However, the cost of obtaining university training is not our primary concern. It is the potential for spiritual harm that has moved us to provide the cautions we have shared in the past. All too often, our young people have met with spiritual disaster, especially after leaving home and living on a university campus. Young people, ask yourself, why am I considering additional education? Is it because I'm pursuing a specific skill or trade to support my service to Jehovah? Or have I been pressured by the system into believing that higher education will somehow make me a more respected person or lead me to a better life? If we are in continued association with those who do not believe the same, it can erode our thinking and convictions. Some have felt that spending time with non-believers in a university setting is no different than working secularly with those who do not share our beliefs. And in fact, bad associations in the workplace can be a real danger. However, it is one thing to work on a job with others and quite another matter to immerse oneself in an institution of learning.
What's with the finger quotes when he said learning? The arrogance.
We are to be careful that this system does not mold or shape our thinking. Elders in congregations that are in close proximity to universities are well aware of the repeated scenario of parents coming to the Kingdom Hall with a child that they're dropping off to attend the nearby university. Sadly, often in a few weeks or months, the child begins missing meetings. And not too long into the school year, he totally disappears. Then the parents are upset with the local body of elders for not shepherding their child. My question is, who dropped them off at the university? So where does the responsibility really lie? I have long said, the better the university, the greater the danger. The most intelligent and eloquent professors will be trying to reshape the thinking of your child, and their influence can be tremendous. One mom, I recall, asked me to try and help her son, who was attending a prestigious name university in Rhode Island. After visiting him, I later had to inform her that her son now believed in evolution. She refused to believe it until he finally told her himself. How sad.
How sad indeed. Years of my life subjected to just awful imagery. It spun my anxiety out of control and made me fearful of the future. I was made to judge others who are peacefully living their lives because it didn't hold up to the Jehovah's Witnesses' interpretation of the Bible. It was hard to learn to trust quote-unquote worldly people. There are so many more topics that could be covered, such as their blood doctrine, shunning, and child sex abuse policies, but those require their own videos. I'm still in therapy, but getting better. I know you can get better too. Thank you for watching, and I hope this compilation will help explain to others just some of what you went through as a child as one of Jehovah's Witnesses.